Hello, Gentleman Scholar here. I don't have a pipe today, only because I can't multitask. I can't imagine myself lighting a pipe and smoking it while trying to show you my swag bag from a place called Thrifty's. And I thought I brought out a flyer, but of course I didn't, just to show where it is. I grabbed 5 of them out of the store, and none of them are here, of course. So, anyway, I'm going to show you what I got because I made quite a killing here. And every time I go in there, there's always a danger that I'm going to spend a lot of money. And, well, spent enough here. So I'm just going to kind of pull things out randomly to show you, in no particular order that I found them. First up is Trilogy of Terror. Now, this is a made-for-TV movie, and it's gained a cult status in the States, mainly because of this particular episode here. I forget the name of the actual episode. It's split into 3 miniature movies. And when I was a kid, about 10 years old, I saw this movie in our local Channel 38, based in Boston, Massachusetts. And this thing scared the bejesus out of me. It's a Zuni fetish doll, and it's, like I said, over the years, it's attained a kind of a cult status. They've even done apparently a sequel to it, which I have not seen. But this little baby's running around, chasing after Karen Black, like nipping at her ankles, and you can see he's got that little spear, and he's stabbing her with it. The whole thing, it is great cinema. I don't know why Criterion doesn't release this, but yeah, $4. If nothing's marked in Thrifty's, it's $4. So good deal for that. I'm having Great North Ale Works. It's an IPA. I think it was a tie-dye IPA. It's very grapefruity, and it's got more fruitiness behind it. So it looks very much like the hippie drink that the can would advertise. So tastes like it too. So, what else do we have? Well, I found Fight Club on Blu-ray rather. I already have it on DVD, on regular DVD. I like the packaging for that, so I'll keep it. But sometimes you just have to get Fight Club on DVD. And if you've never seen this, it's probably the most anti-capitalist movie you'll ever see. It's basically a self-help group gone completely wildly out of control. And it's an amazing film. They don't give you any pat answers as to the whole thing, and it's just really good and darkly humor. So check it out if you haven't seen it. Let's see. Now this is the first thing I saw, and I was actually thinking about a dialogue that Frank Miller had written for this particular Spawn and Batman team-up. As you can see, it's modeled after The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller's seminal 80s Batman prestige miniseries that everyone likes to emulate and copy and everything else. But yeah, I remember reading this one article in there where the villain basically goes on this rant saying, "Do you know what the problem is with the world? People. Smelly, farting, greedy people." And so that always kind of stuck with me, and I'm like, damn, I wish I'd picked it up. And lo and behold, today I see it. There's no such thing as coincidence, my friends. Okay, now this I got for a friend here, a dear friend. I'm going to send it to him eventually. It's Monkey's Greatest Hits sheet music, and he plays guitar. He's in a punk band, so I'm sure he'll really enjoy this. I'll just send it along. He's a big Monkees fan as well. You wouldn't expect that of a punk, but what the hell? You wouldn't expect a punk to like Cheap Trick either, but he sure as hell does. Also, he's of course his life revolves around the Ramones, and as it should really. If you're going to pick a punk band to build your life around, why not pick the Ramones? Okay, zipping right along. When I was younger, there used to be a science fiction film magazine called Starlog. It went I don't know, I think it went like the late 70s up to the early 90s, I believe. I have a smattering of issues over the years, and I only picked it up if something appealed to me. And since it's a smack dab in the middle of the early 80s, it's got a feature on Buckaroo Banzai that I'm going to have to read. You can tell just by, Conan the Destroyer, Star Trek 3, all that geeky stuff that It's okay to like now, apparently. Back when... that's my cat. He wants to go in, but he can wait. He kind of hints every now and again. He wants to go in, he goes to the door. And then if he really wants to go in, he starts scratching. But now I'm kind of scared. He might relieve himself here on the deck, so I'm just going to go let him in. Excuse me a moment. And we're back. Cat got let in. Let's see. Another issue of Starlog. Of course, you've got 81 to 82 film reviews. They're going to be doing a run through on Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, when it was brand spanking new. And I love this, science fiction toys and games from the early 80s. That's going to be a hoot to read through. Thunder the Barbarian. Look, The Thing. The classic movie The Thing when it was new. And of course, more Blade Runner, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Because, you know, I hate to say, that's a movie that everyone seems to like except me. Because E.T. and The Thing came out right around the same time, and I was more of a Thing person, while everyone was watching E.T. Phone Home in one theater. In the next theater, I was watching the alien dog's face split apart like a banana, and having seen tentacles come out of it. And about 10 rows down, there's this jock guy and his girlfriend just sitting there watching the movie, you know, going to take someone to the scary movie and, you know, maybe get lucky that night or something. And all of a sudden, her blood-curdling shriek just echoed across the theater, and I knew it was... I said to myself, this is going to be great. And it was. Alright, what else do we have here? Another issue of Starlog. This one covers 2010, a very underrated sequel. I've got them both, but I've never been a gigantic Kubrick fan. So, I went to go see this with Roy Scheider and John Lithgow, and a couple of Russian actors were in it as well. And of course, they got Cara Dullia from 2001: A Space Odyssey to come back as the original astronaut after it got changed into the Star Child. And it was pretty cool. I really liked it was very much a product of its time, very Cold War. You know, very, very Cold War. Russians, you know, trying to outdo us in space and whatnot. But by the real 2010, they kind of weren't a player anymore. Actually, neither were we. We haven't exactly done a whole lot of space exploration in recent years, except for sending satellites up. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, Runaway. Hell, I saw that. That was a Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons from Kiss. It was actually a pretty good movie. Oh, and the Ewok Adventure. Ewoks, don't get me started. Please don't get me started. In V the series, a cold-hearted killer defends the Earth. V starred Jane Badler. She was I guess she was basically V's answer to the super bitchy vixen answer to Joan Collins from Dynasty, complete with the blush and the big hair. And I think she even had the padded shoulders with her red uniform, too. So she was the bad girl of V. And she was a Miss New Hampshire, too. Pride of New Hampshire, where we live right now. So that's her big claim to fame, is that she was in a really questionable 80s science fiction TV series. More than I've done with my life. So, I just picked this up. I've never seen this before. It's called Future Life, February 1980. So, apparently they're doing a feature on Star Trek the Motion Picture when it hit the big screen again once upon a time. Forecasting the next decade, computer buying guide, two-way television, space aid gains, plugging into the source. Talking about that is way back, as far back as then. Sturgeon and Sheckley, Black Hole. You know, a movie I've never seen at all? Disney's Black Hole, Cosmic Art. So for $2, you know that's worth a look. What else do we have? A collector's magazine for Star Trek Generations. I know most Star Trek fans did not like this particular movie, but I loved it. It had a lot of heart to it. It had enough plot holes to drive a truck through, a starship through. But it doesn't matter, because it had a lot of heart, and I consider it to be Star Trek's closest thing it has to a Christmas movie. And it's about what you do with your time that's allotted to you. And it's pretty good. And I know people wanted the meeting between Picard and Kirk to be somehow more momentous and have more gravitas than it really did, but I don't know, I liked it a lot. You could have improved certain things, yes, but I think it's a fun movie, and I see it at least once a year, and made my life better overall. And last but not least, speaking of Star Trek, yes indeed, Gary's a Star Trek fan long before he even had words to describe it. Star Trek, the magazine. There's a whole series of these. I don't have them all, but they give you like tech maps, the whole thing. They give you the Borg vessels, everything, a total geek. The Borg cube interior, which it looks kind of like V'ger from the first Star Trek movie. So makes you wonder if there's a link there anywhere. But I mainly got this for Jimmy Doohan's interview in here because Scotty. I actually got his autograph at a convention once upon a time, and he's one of my favorite characters, mainly because he comes from Scotland. I love this guy even before I even went to Scotland and learned about the Scottish. He's just a really nice guy in person. He's Canadian. I guess I understand. Gene Roddenberry had him try out different accents before he settled on Scottish. And here's a fun-filled fact. He actually was missing a finger. He signed a book for me, the Star Trek Concordance, and he was missing a finger. Apparently, he lost it in World War II, I believe. He was a fighter pilot in World War II, so I don't know how exactly that would play out, but I could be wrong. Maybe he lost it in some accident or something. I don't know, but I'm glad to have met him. I'm glad he signed something for me, and easily my favorite part of any kind of Star Trek. So there you have it. All useless stuff. It's not going to help me get ahead in life or financially or anything like that, but boy, it was cheap and it was fun, and I'm just glad I didn't go looking at the CDs and the records and everything else. I turned down this action figure of the T-1000 Terminator where in Terminator 2 where he gets frozen by the liquid hydrogen truck. I'm like, $20 for this? It's cool, but it's not $20 worth of cool. Also saw this really great thing. If I can insert the picture in here, if I can figure out how to do that, I saw, 12 minutes, that's not bad. It's a Gossamer from Warner Brothers cartoons, Bugs Bunny and Gossamer, the big hairy monster that looks like a giant molar with hair on it, and he's got sneakers. There's a cartoon where Bugs is basically doing his nails, pretending to be his hairdresser and everything like that, just because that's what Bugs does, because he's an anarchist, he's insane. So it was one of his stalling tactics to confuse Gossamer. And I love I squealed like a little girl when I saw it. I was like, I want it. It was $40 though, and it was too big. I couldn't justify it, and too many chips in it. But having said that, if I go in there again and it's still there, it might come home with me. Maybe that's the universe trying to tell me something. Anyway, I don't want to just go blabbing on. I just want to do that for you. I partially did this just because I haven't put up a video in a while. Also, a friend of mine on Facebook desperately wanted to see my swag bag after I posted the Gossamer thing on Facebook. So this video is for him too. Anyway, I hope you folks are well. Take care, and we'll speak to you soon. Hopefully, have a good one.